Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing great, and if no one has told you this today, I am so glad you exist. You are appreciated and you are loved. So today's video is going to be a fall warm DIY, but to make it whole. So I thrifted this beautiful knit top for $3, and I ain't no grandma. I'm not gonna wear this like this. So I decided to hoe it up, and this is the top I came up with. So it's this twist knit top, and I love it. I love that I'm showing the girls, but I'm keeping everything else warm because that's exactly how I live my life in fall. And I love the twist detail. I think it adds some pizzazz and oomph and fire to this top. And if you don't like to wear this like this, you can layer it under a denim jacket, over a turtleneck, just customize it to your style. So the first thing we're going to do to make this is you're going to mark the midpoint. Mine was 11¼ inches. If yours is a different measurement, use that. And I'm now going to use the midpoint as a guide to divide my top into two, and I'm only cutting through the top layer because if you cut through the bottom layer, then that becomes a totally different channel, and that's not what we're doing today. So once I split my top into two, here is how it looks. Everything is nice and open, and now I'm just going to pin the top so that everything can stay together, and then I'm marking 4 inches from the midpoint, and this is 8½ inches down from the neckline. So this is the point where your twist will start. It's just where you want everything to come together. If you want this to be lower, you do that. Customize it to do whatever you need it to do. So I marked a straight line through both points, and I'm marking 4 inches on the other side as well. And basically, to make everything clear, we have 8½ inches going down and 4 inches going out. So now we're going to open up the top on both sides, and this is because it's easier to work on one layer at a time. So I'm just splitting the top open along the side seam on both sides because we want to make things easier. So I just split it along the side, took my sweet time doing this, and once that was done, I'm now going to cut through the straight line, but I'm going to stop at the 4-inch point. So this is essentially where your twist will be. It will make sense in a minute, just bear with me, just like Black people bear with all the injustices happening in this country. So now I'm just going to draw a V-neck. There's no measurement to this, I just eyeballed it, and I'm going to cut off that piece of fabric, and this is because I wanted to have a bit of cleavage. If you're not okay showing the girls, you can skip this step, but I like to do it, and I did it. And I use this as a template. I basically turned it upside down and used it on the other side just to make sure I was cutting everything equal, and one thing wasn't going to the police and the other one was staying with me. I needed loyalty all through. And now I'm going to get rid of the neckline, and this is because she didn't look cute. She didn't fit in, and I had to let her know that this was what was happening. So I cut her off. I did soothe her a bit and tell her she was a bit useless at this point. She got over it, and so did I. I also got rid of the tag, and now we have our basic top template, and I'm going to curve out the bottom because, as I said, hoe is life. You don't have to do this, but I like the shape of the curved hem, and I thought she was cute. And if I can't wear light thin fabrics that leave nothing to the imagination because summer is now ending, I am going to make it work with knitwear. Honey, you don't know me. The whole life chose me. I'm kidding. If you want the curved hem look, you go for it. If you don't want it, then don't bother with it. That's how simple life is. So now I'm just cutting through the curved line I drew, and this is to make sure everything is nice and proper. And I did this for basically very few minutes, and once I'd cut off the fabric, I used it as a template on the other side. I just turned it upside down, pinned it in place, and now I'm cutting the same exact shape on this side as well. And this just makes sure everything looks nice and equal, and it doesn't look like you sew with your eyes closed and literally have no life. So you're just trying to save image out here on the streets. So now that everything was nice and cut, we are going to overlock every cut edge. And I know you might be thinking, is this really necessary? Honey, if you do not want marriage problems, you want to overlock. If your sewing machine doesn't have an overlock stitch, I will be praying for you because this knit fabric really did come to test me. She was shedding so much, and basically what overlocking does is it locks in the thread. That way it doesn't keep fraying and testing you like 2020. So basically I used my overlock stitch on my machine, and this is what that looks like. If you have a serger, you can can use a serger. Just do whatever you need to do to cope. So I did every edge and overlocked it. I also did the middle bit. I cut off, and you can see it's a bit wavy, but that's fine. I did stretch my fabric as I was overlocking, which is something you shouldn't do. But basically all the edges that are overlocked except the middle bit, we are going to hem. And you're basically going to do this by folding in the fabric once and then sewing a straight stitch all around. So this is so simple to do, but just makes your top look so nice and neat. This is what distinguishes the professionals from the people who don't know what they're doing, aka you and me. But if we want to seem professional, you need to do this step. It honestly makes all the difference in the top, and I really loved it. And you can see I'm just gliding through, honey. I am smashing my goals in this sewing, unlike in real life where I'm really struggling, but that's not the point we're talking about today. So I sewed my straight stitch, and once I ended things, I backstitched just to make sure that this breakup was final. And now you can see, look at that neatness, honey. It looks good, and we are here for it. Now that everything is nice and neat and we've lied on our resume that we can do the job, it's time to actually do the job and cry while doing it. So I turned the top inside out, and I'm just twisting twice just to make sure everything looks nice and professional. People, we are here to make this believable and make people think we have money, okay? So we are going to flatten everything out. I just made sure everyone was in her place and not talking smack to my mother-in-law because I needed to make a good impression. And now I'm just joining the bit we cut earlier, and this is basically going to form the line that should go under your boobs, but if you miscalculated this like me, it will go directly on your boob, which is fine. So you're going to sew a zigzag stitch along all the pinned area, and this is going to close things up for you and hopefully give you the closure you never got from your ex. So I learned my lesson when I was sewing the zigzag stitch. I did not stretch her at all. I let her do her own thing. She wanted to ride the waves. I was like, honey, you do what you need to do. Just give me the zigzag stitch proper, okay? And once I did the zigzag stitch, I did guide her a bit, but she did try me and become a bit wavy, but this is what she looked like. And now I tried on the top and I did not like it. So I decided to make it shorter because that's just how we do it on the streets, baby. So I marked 3.5 inches on both sides from that midpoint. And this is basically how much fabric I'm going to take in from the middle. And this will make my top go up at the bottom. I hope I'm making sense. So I drew a straight line through from the midpoint twist to the 3.5 inch mark, and this is going to be excess fabric. So I flipped the top around, made her do karate. You know, you never know when these skills are useful on the streets. And I pinned along the line, and this is basically where you're going to sew your zigzag stitch. So you're basically redoing the last step, mostly because you've been reckless and you do not know what you're doing. So you're figuring it out as you go. So I sewed a zigzag stitch along both points. No need to show this. It's exactly the same as before. And once everything is nice and sewn, we're going to cut off the excess fabric, just like we cut off toxic friends. And you need to cut off your ex too. I don't know who needs to hear this, but you need to cut him off, boo. He ain't doing you any good. Make sure you overlock that edge as well that you just cut. And now we are going to straighten out the bottom because everything needs to be nice and equal. So I just drew a straight line, cut through the straight line, and my top was now super cropped that I was questioning if this would actually fit me. But it did, so everything worked out. Taking a risk is always worth it, though I do not recommend it. So I turned the top to the back side. I'm going to first overlock that edge and then hem it to make sure we look professional. That is the theme for today's video. So I did this off camera because it's exactly the same as we did before, and I overlocked that edge we cut. I'm just giving you receipts. Look at that girl. She is locked in prison to be forgotten. No one cares about her anymore. And I also did the bottom. She's now nice and neat, and now we are going to close up the top. So I took this t-shirt I like the fit of. I straightened her out just to make sure she was following the rules, and now I'm going to kind of finesse a top. So I marked how wide my t-shirt was. I marked a point on both sides. And once I was happy with those points, I got rid of the t-shirt. It is now living in Australia without me, happily married. So I'm going to pin the bottom of the sleeve together. And this is because I wanted the fabric to stay together and not move about. And you can see magic at its peak. I am basically finessing a top shape. Honestly, no method to this. I just went with my gut and hoped that this would fit. Again, that is not the approach we should be taking in life, but really 2020, we can do anything we want. So once I'd finessed this side, it was time to finesse the other side. And let me tell you, finesse I did. So you can see they don't look anything alike, but this worked out. Just follow your gut, trust yourself, because I believe in you, baby. If I could do this, you can do this. So I pinned everything in place, and this was basically going to be the underside of my top. This was going to be under the armpit, and you're going to sew a zigzag stitch to close everything up. And you can see there's a lot of excess fabric, but as I said, at the sewing machine, you just go slow. Do not pressure the zigzag stitch. She does not like peer pressure. She likes to take her time and be who she is. So just zigzag stitch at your own pace. Do not worry about the future, because there is no future with the way 2020 is going. So I made sure to backstitch, because we have to hold on to everything we can at this point. And now you can see the stitches on both sides. Now it's time to get rid of the excess fabric. You don't need her. If you keep her, she's going to bulk up your top and you will look like you have a fifth food baby, which is never the look we ever go for, right? And you're going to overlock the cut edge just to make sure there's no fraying. And of course, mine was wavy. What am I doing wrong? Everything I'm doing in my life, I'm doing wrong, but it's okay. The top was fine to wear, and that's all that matters to me. So once you turn this the right way out, guess what? You now have a new warm hoe top to add to your collection. And this is what she looks like on. Baby girl, you can't tell me nothing. I'm going to be wearing this top all through fall, all through winter in minus 50-degree weather. And let me see you have an opinion about it. I love the top. I think it's super fabulous, and it only cost us $3. What's not to love about saving money we do not have? So can I hear an amen to that? Anyway, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you'll be trying this DIY. Please feel free to customize it to your style. I know mine has a lot of cleavage. I might be getting hypothermia potentially in winter, but that's my problem to deal with. You can customize yours to be all the way up to your neck, and guess what? That's okay too. Just let people wear what they want, and we're all going to be happy and coexisting peacefully, which is exactly what we need more of in this world. Anyway, thank you for watching, and see you guys soon. Bye.